Yes, sir. Come on in. Come on in. Y'all know how it go. Yo, good people, it's your homie HerbMan. You back upside the head with another hot banger. Look, please go tell somebody. Go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. If you're new to the program, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms at HerbMan. All right, so welcome to the HerbMan Show. I am your neighborhood holistic practitioner. I'm your homie HerbMan. All right, so we're coming live on TikTok and YouTube. So you guys can follow me there, youtube.com/C/HerbMan. All right, that's youtube.com/C/HerbMan. And you can be tuned in to the HerbMan Show to understand exactly what we're dropping on the planet, all right, on this planet of ours, all right. So again, you guys, please go tell somebody, go tell somebody. All we do is teach people how to heal themselves, and you cannot heal yourself if you do not know thyself, all right. So we teach you about the human frame and the human design so that you can be well on your way to happiness, wholeness, and wellness. We are coming live from South Africa, you guys. This is a free information station, all right. This information is free. All you got to do to pay for it is simply pay attention. How you do that is by double tapping that screen to get us up to 100K so that you guys can allow us to spread this information to as many people as possible. Okay. So what we understand from the paradigm, what we understand from trying to be enlightened, what we understand from trying to reach that next level of consciousness, what we understand from trying to be in this paradigm together with one another is that there is another level. Okay, that's what we understand, that there is another level. Now the question is, how do we get to that next level? How do we understand this passage, and how do we understand this life path, and how do we understand how to change our cancerous diagnosis and our tumorous diagnosis, and how can we understand how to get this autoimmune diagnosis simplified and rectified, and how can we understand how to get our families in order and our finances in order, and what is the big thing to be able to move and actually put all of your powers out here into this time and space and allow things to be attracted to you, right? So the big question is, how do we get to this next level? And so what we've been teaching and what we've been trying to get you guys to understand for the last couple of weeks, especially since I've been in Africa here, is that we've been trying to get you guys to understand that in order for you to do this, you must understand how to switch off from physical power, your power plant, okay? Because about it is that if your body is not able to heal you, it's because it's too debilitated, it's too weak. Okay, so you can't ask for a weak kidneys to be strong. You can't ask for a weak heart to be strong, or weak liver, or weak gallbladder, or weak thyroid. That's why we're getting these organs removed. So then what do you ask for is that you must understand that there is another power source within you. And within that power source, if you know how to switch off one and go to the other, you have the energy, the energetics that's needed, the wisdom and the intuition that's needed to fix all of your health concerns. Okay? That's what we're really teaching and preaching here on the HerbMan Show. All right. And so what we're showing you is how that looks as far as the dynamics are concerned. So you have the physical, you have the spiritual. Sometimes when your physical is low, you must activate the spiritual. We're trying to teach you guys, all right? That sometimes when the physical aspects of the body do not operate in the functionality that you would like to, or at the moment that you would like for them to, because they are ran down, they are dysfunctional, they are malnutrition, okay, and they are miscommunicating, and therefore they're all over the. So instead of going into the particular body trying to fix something that the body obviously can't rectify, then we must learn how to activate this side of ourselves. Now we call this the owner's manual. Okay? The owner's manual for a measly, funky little $50. All we require is your birthday. Okay, We don't need a blood sample, a blood type, a hair sample, stool sample, urine sample, saliva sample. We don't need a culture, live culture of anything from you. We don't prick you, prod you, or poke you, right? This is non-invasive, non-intrusive, but this is very, very indicative of all of the things that you need in order to get yourself back on track with your nutrition and your healing abilities. All right. So with this particular thing, it serves as a guide for you to get the most optimal performance out of you, okay, the most longevity out of you, and the optimal usage that you are equipped to be able to utilize. And we do all of that for a funky little measly $50 that you get all of that information about your foods, your herbs, your activities that you need to get involved in, how to deal with your spiritual tendencies as well as your physical tendencies, especially when we add those things up to your physical tendencies. So these are the ways that you're able to attack your spiritual self, all right, to be able to activate that part of you. You got to know that it exists. First of all, you must know what kind of weight it is holding on you, but you also must know what kind of energy it possesses, what kind of power that's over here as well. You can't run this everlasting life race, which is what we're teaching people, that we don't chase disease, we're chasing death. Death is the consciousness of the people. Because you consciously think that that's a part of life, obviously it becomes a reality. But did you not understand that all of the text that you're reading is about everlasting churn? Well, how do you everlast? You must first understand that the task at hand must be to preserve the body. There's no way that you can everlast without understanding the principles of body preservation. So, body preservation comes in with slower breathing. Slower breathing is one of the best ways to start to preserve one's body. Slower breathing also is going to do what? Slower oxidize the body. Okay. Now, when you're meditating, you're resting, you're relaxing, you're sleeping, and you got slow breathing. Now, this is what we call a little bit of contentment going on with the ebbs and flows of life. Therefore, you're not out here hustling, bustling, and running the body down in a physical race that you can't win just with the body alone. Please keep tapping the screen, you guys. You keep tapping, I'll keep talking, all right? Keep tapping the screen. If you keep tapping, I'll keep talking. We need a minute as possible to hear this message today. Okay? Okay? You have to understand that it's about body preservation. And the biggest thing to preserve any kind of oxidative stress is the antioxidant. So these things are already out here, they've already been invented, already been talked about, but you don't know really the role that these things play on your existence. Body preservation, we know off the rip that the biggest thing for that is to prevent it from oxidative stress. The one thing we know that can combat oxidative stress is an antioxidant, offset and offshoot the oxidative stress. So the most antioxidant thing that you have in your body comes from when you are sleeping, and that's called melatonin. Okay, that's called melatonin, right? Let me write this down. Melatonin, right? Melatonin produces what we call melanocytes, right? Melanocytes, which produces melanin. But melatonin is one of the highest antioxidative things you have in your body, and it's one of the most curative aspects of things that you produce in the body. And that's been produced based on your what? Rest, relaxation, sleep, and meditation. You can actually function this on. You can engage in this yourself. You can bring this on to yourself. Now I'm trying to teach y'all something if you follow me. Okay? Okay? So when you're looking for herbs and you're looking for medications and you're looking for this and that, and I'm telling you to learn how to activate that healing mechanism that's within you through your ability to slow down, your ability to rest, relax, sleep, meditate. You need to slow down. I know your bills are messed up. Slow down. I know the relationship is messed up. Slow down. I know that this and that is going on in your life. Slow down. The ability to slow breathe during the most egregious times in your life. That's why we look at passages of the Bible where they're talking about them being in the rage, right? But the boat don't flip over. So we must be able to understand that when we're talking about getting into this fivefold understanding of consciousness, that is going to take us breaking through this spiritual wall and getting into this intuitive side and growing in this in a way that we can use this to help us with our issues. Because most of the time when you got high blood pressure, you stressed out, but you can't stop the job that's causing the stress. You can't walk out of the relationship causing the stress. You can't walk away from the kids causing the stress. See, you attached to the stress in some form or fashion. So how you gonna heal yourself? Okay? Then you got guilt and unforgiveness that attack you. You don't know what to do with that. Self-control issues, you don't know what to do. So you got all these different things that can start to hamper you. Can we get that light back on? Yeah, so you guys got to understand that, right? That it's going to take you being able to break through this particular wall in order for you to get where you got to go. Cannot try to run this race in this physical paradigm, period. So what you're getting with the HerbMan show, we're teaching you how to preserve that particular body. And you said, well, how are you teaching us this? You know, what are your methods of being able to teach us how to preserve body when we already know that the body deteriorates because of oxidative stress? We getting wrinkles, we getting with aging, we're doing all this type of stuff. So what is it that you're showing us here that makes it different for us to be able to activate our healing, first of all, and secondly, extend our lives? Thank you for asking. I like questions like that. The first question is, how does this activate healing within the body? First of all, we got to understand that every single thing that you're dealing with, for the most part, is a spiritual issue. Okay. So now we know how to align up issues spiritually, some trauma that has happened to you that you have suppressed in some form that has some kind of connection to diseases and symptoms. Okay. Now we can do that. Secondly, we understand that the once the spiritual trauma has been lifted, then we know that then the physical issue recovery methodology has a whole lot. Right? So that once we get some of these emotional demons out of the person, it's already understood that these recovery methods have sped up at least 50% or better just by leaving the spiritual issue. So we got that out the way. Secondly, we understand that in that recovery, healing has taken place. When we talk about healing and when we're talking about curing, we're talking about never coming back again. Because healing and curing is a permanent state of being. It is not just something that you're going to come back to years down the line. Okay? So the biggest thing that we need to understand with this here is that this is the ultimate illustration of how to heal yourself with the right foods, the right herbs, the right activities, et cetera, that's going to help you on your way. Now, that next question is the life longevity. The life longevity is once I get every single one of you guys to activate this spiritual consciousness to heal your little diabetes or your little blood pressure or your little autoimmune disease or your little arthritis or your little this or your little that, you're going to now know how to get in. Once you're able to get in, that'll be something that you never forget. Now, once we start to allow people to do this on a grander scale of living longer instead of just healing immediate issues. See, right now, all you guys are looking for is immediate recovery from your problem. don't give a damn about living on 120 years. You just don't want to live it with that pain you got. That's understandable, and we get that. Okay? But once you understand and get what we're giving to you today, and you're understanding this infinite possibility of life in your own hands based on ancient system that's telling you how to connect back with nature and giving you herbs and foods and all of this that resonates with your nature, then you'll understand that, okay, if I could tap into that for a little quick healing of an acute situation, then I can do it for my chronic situation, and I can now start to do it for my life. Now this begins to transform from an emergency aspect to a make prospect. And that's what we're looking to do. Transition this thing from you having to use this in emergency situations to just using it for preventative methods. That means that right now, people who need it, but in the future, people who don't need it still need it. So you'll see that it's food for everybody. Right now, it may look like those that are just in there. I need to go holler at HerbMan because I got stage 4, stage 5. That's fine. Come on. We're going to help you in your emergency situation. But ultimately, we want to change this from you trying to use this as an emergency, which it can help you with, to using this as a preventative measures for emergencies to never happen to you. That means that you're going to need to invest in something even when you're healthy. Because a healthy consciousness is just as important as a healthy body. And that's what we've been selling. That a healthy consciousness is just as important as a healthy body. So many of you guys come to me, you use me just for the physical, and I can't teach you because what your problem is spiritual. It's you. You are the problem. There's no actual herb for your personality or your characteristics or your wants, needs, and desires. I can't change them with a magic potion. So it is you that has to be the one to get the work done. And for a measly little funky $50, that's actually what we're offering you is a mirror look at what it is that you are dealing with in your life and to get you well on your way to happiness, wholeness, and love. And there's a lot of people that have trusted in the system enough to purchase what they needed, and they're actually either in the system or have started the system or probably waiting on the back end. I know a lot of y'all order stuff and then just don't do nothing. Yeah, you got to do the work. There you go, Daddy. You got to do the work, right? So, with that being said, what we're really trying to teach you guys is how to get out of this electric power. Okay, that electrical power. You know how sometimes, like last night, the grid went down here, the load shedding, right? Sometimes you have to load shed, which means that you have to shed load that this electrical power, this electrical grid, this patriarchal mentality, this masculine energy will have on you as a female and a male. You got to shed the load. You got to shed the load sometimes. And so you're transitioning from electrical power, which produces a waste product, to solar power, your magnetic approach. If I can't go get it, then I'll make it come to me. If I can't go get healing, then I'll make healing come to me. If I can't go get finances, then I'll will it to myself. I'll make it come to me. I'll will it to myself. Will it. You got to have that unction and that power and that fortitude to understand that sometimes electricity don't work in certain instances where you need that solar power, right? Because we know that solar power is going to carry us the rest of the way in the darkest hours, in the hours of the unknown, in the times where we don't understand. Pointing case. Somebody give me your age and your zodiac sign. That's all I need. Pointing case. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something real quick. No, I ain't finna do all of y'all, so I ain't gonna need you starting that. Uh, then deal with 41 cancer. I like it. 41 cancer right here, right? Okay, so you right here. Your destination is also your starting line. Your starting line is your finish line. Okay. So what am I saying here is that this is where you got to come back to on this map. Okay. This is where you got to come back to on this map. You're 41. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1 years in the Scorpio. Okay, so you're actually right here. You 1 years into Scorpio. So you all about being 41 years old. You all about the intimate things in life, being intimate, getting your little groove on. That's where you at right now. But also at that point of joint venture, there's something that you want to do that you've been thinking about joining somebody with to do, whether it does a business idea, but it's also you've been thinking about taking out a loan for this thing as well. Okay. You've been thinking about taking out a loan for this thing as well, just within this last year. That's Scorpio. Okay. And you're not in winter, but what you got to worry about is here is also your ability to start and end things. Okay. You got to watch out for your ability to start and end things because you're really good on starting things and you're really good on things as well. But that's all in this due season. Okay. Now you're going to be equipped with certain things that's going to get you through this fall season of life because that's what Scorpio is at. It's in the fall season of life. This is where things can come and go. The leaves, right? We call this the season of the leaves. Right? So things will leave you and things will come. Matter of fact, between 30 and 40, either you got married or you got into a real relationship, or either somebody you broke up between 30 and 40, right? Because you was in Libra. Now you 41 to 50, now you're going to be in the Scorpio. But between the age of 30 and 40, either you got with your spouse or you broke up with somebody major during that time. Why? Because that was a transitionary phase. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you to between 25 and 35, right? 20, 30, yeah, 25 and 35, right? So we know all this about you. Now, if we understood all of this type of stuff, we can also understand some of the herbs and some of the health things that you may be dealing with because you are a Cancer, right? Then we know that you have Capricornian qualities. So Cancer is water. So you could be dealing with some delusion and loneliness from a spiritual standpoint. You could be dealing with some pituitary gland issues. What's that mean? Hair loss, hair don't grow, right? You're too short, you're too tall, your feet too small, your feet too big. Growth issues, right? That could also hamper the reproductive system. Okay, that could also hamper the reproductive system. Yeah, right? That's the Cancer. That's the Cancer part. That's the water sign. Now the Capricorn in you is gonna have this high blood pressure, this kidney issue, these adrenal issues, this low energy. All right. Then the next one's gonna be this weight issue, metabolism issue, this thyroid issue. Can all come from being a Capricorn Cancer. And we ain't even done yet. And all you gave me was your age and your zodiac. Okay. And we just pushed out at least four different spiritual things, four different diseases thing that you got to worry about with other symptomologies of it, and all due to the most simplest information that you can possibly give any physician on the planet, and that's the day you were born. Okay. But the biggest thing that y'all want to see out of this is how far you came in the life path, right? So me telling you about that Scorpio issue, right? Each of these is 10 years. So you're only 1 year in the Scorpio, which means you got 9 more years to go. But look at all this field over here you got to play with, right? Look at all this stuff over here you got to play with. You got so many more years to live and to learn. And that's why body preservation and this owner's manual debauchery that you guys have been listening to and listening intently to for the last few months now is the number one thing to invest in your family. For $50, you can't beat it because nobody's shown you the spiritual side of your journey. Of your journey, you can't go share this with nobody else. This is about you. Okay. And then Lindenway, she finally responded back and said, yes, 100% true. Thank you very much. Okay. So we know the accuracy of the situation. We ain't worried about the accuracy of it. What we're trying to get you to see is that you need to start utilizing this understanding. And I got so many, see, so many of my brothers and sisters are Christians. So they don't want to stay close to it, but they need it. And what I'm saying is that that Indian person that's your doctor, that Indian person don't believe in Christianity, but you still let him be your doctor. Because in the doctor's office, you're not worried about belief. You're worried about the tools that's necessary for you to get your health in order. And that's all I want y'all to worry about when you come to me, because you need this as well. Especially if the treatments from the hospital ain't helping you. The treatments at the hospital don't give a damn if you're a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, or you're an atheist. It's money to them. And we need a tool that can help us if they ain't gonna be willing to. Since we're understanding that there needs to be a rival to the healthcare system of America, then I'm introducing a very unique, a very healthy, and a very robust one that's going to allow you to not only understand your health and what you need there, but it's also going to do some more stuff for you and to you never dreamed of in your life. And it's high time that you deal with around this circle dealing with high blood pressure. You can't make it to 120 years old. I'm gonna put it out there. You can't make it to 120 years old being a diabetic. You can't make it to 120 years old suffering from an autoimmune disease. You can't make it to 120 years old with arthritis. You can't make it to 120 years old with cancers and tumors and debility issues. You can't make it there. Now, some of us already got these issues. Okay, so fine. You don't need the owner's man. You don't need it then. Go on because you just keep on watching somebody else. Okay? But this is what I'm trying to get you to see. Is ultimately utilize this as an emergency situation. But this is ultimately for the folk ain't nothing wrong with. That's who need the owner's man. It's for your young people, your youth, your children, for you to have something sitting in the back there with all the rest of them old ass piece of paper at, and you just be able to say when this baby get grown, when it get a headache, when it get life issues and events that happen, when it get mid age, when it get elderly. If I'm still here, we can track this baby along this thing in order for us to understand how to take care of this person in that time of need. Where you gonna get that from? Your birth certificate is supposed to be a symbology of that, but it's not. But we have the remedy. So not only will this thing help you in your time of emergency, it should also be a preventative tool that you should be willing to invest in for your whole entire family. How much matter well worth it if you in your health journey? Well, yeah, even if you're in the middle of it, even if you're at the end of it, there's a lot of people that really are healthy, but just trying to get to that next level spiritually, that the owners manual can also benefit. Real talk. There's a lot of people that already been eating good and been doing this and doing that, but there's still some spiritual levels that they know that they quite aren't there yet at, that they want a little bit more information on to how to activate that enlightenment, how to break through that veil, how to get to that next level. And this can also help you do that as well. Okay. It can also help you do this as well. Yes, I just wanted to reach a high level. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Sabrina. So there are people who are just trying to ultimately climb this Jacob's ladder, right? And trying to figure out how to control the windmills that we may call the seven chakras with the solar plexus or the solar system of the body. Because this is all planetary, right? So this is not just a chakra system, this is a solar system. Because these are also constructive. You got Jupiter on here, you got Mars on here, you got all those planets are representative also within the same diagram. But folks don't understand it. So now when we're talking about your solar power is the flip on from your electrical power. When your electrical grid has went down, you'll see that healing is almost impossible. Your electrical grid is also ran off of steam power, so it's more water fluid. So you'll see that when your waters are contaminated, it also deteriorates the electricity that you have within the body. It's like a car battery. Even though you don't see it, that car battery has water in it, right? And it's that water along with these electrical positives and electrical negative nodes that create the energy source that makes your car crank up. So within you is the same thing. You have this water that is a conduit to this electrical power, but it's based on the consistency of those waters that will create the power that can be generated by you. Now, what happens is that when your energy levels go low due to your waters being disturbed, and you have not good energy, good electricity to reignite your kidneys, dialysis, to reignite your immune system, AIDS, cancer, and infections, and boils, all kind of other stuff. When you don't have enough electricity or enough energy within the tank because of the corrosion of the water in you and the nodes in you, your lymph nodes, right? Now you can't get healing. But there is a mechanism in you to switch off the electrical power and on to the solar power. There is a switch in you that has a generative quality to it, a generative quality. And this generative quality is what you may call the regenerator. But it is a generative quality to this particular generative power. If you activate it, it can take over almost like a co-pilot. It can take over the system and provide whatever the physical has lacked. And it is in that activation, it is in that understanding that that mechanism even exists that the HerbMan show is one of the number one shows on today. Because we've been teaching you guys about this. It's the reason why we're one of the fastest growing herbalists on the planet. Because of this information. It is because of this information that we've been able to build a brand since 2008. We know it works. It is in this information that you will find everything that you need. Now, here's the thing. What is the biggest problem when people get this? They do it just like they do everything else. They don't put the time and effort into it. They want something so quick, fast, and in a hurry that they jump over the spiritual tendencies. Well, I'm working on the spiritual stuff, but I just need to know about these herbs and about this, that, and the third. You ain't working on no spiritual stuff. If you did, your recovery would be faster. This is what I'm trying to get you to see. If you do everything on the owner's manual, in tandem, in combination, all together, you guys, if you do everything all together, if you give yourself 30 days somewhere to where you could just really focus on doing this manual, getting your spiritual tendencies, taking the herbs, eating the foods, your recovery will be through the roof. Okay? It will be through the roof. I'm telling y'all that. Do you provide a plan? The plan is what you're getting in your hand. The only thing that you got to do now is make room for it. You know what I'm saying? I can't provide a plan because everybody's life is different. So what I just try to tell each and every one of you guys is you make room for your own healing. See what I'm saying? Like I'm time out for trying to hold your hand through this, man. Your health is your responsibility. All I can do is tell you what to do it, but it's your responsibility. See what I'm saying? I'm doing that now and healing. There you go, natural natty. There you go. You put it all together. If I say it takes 3 weeks to heal and you only got 2 weeks, you're gonna think the situation don't work. If I tell you it takes 3 weeks to heal, but you've been doing it for 6 months, you're gonna think it don't work, right? So you gotta look at it as it's all you need is the information, but it's ultimately what you do with it. And what you're getting on the HerbMan show is the information. I'm giving you the information. Hands down, bottom line, how you live, how you look, how you feel. I'm 40, I'm going on 46 years old in the next 4 or 5 days here, right? So it's all about how you look and how you feel. Now, I know most of my classmates, right? Most of my classmates, this would be poked out. And I ain't even shitting on my classmates. You know, I love y'all. But most of the people that I went to school with, even the guys that were skinny in school, skinny in college, skinny in the military. Hell, I done been to a lot of, I know some skinny in the penitentiary that ain't skinny no more. That's younger than me, older than me, and my age. Okay. And we know that the gut, period, on each and every one of us is a alarm clock that lets you know certain things about your life and your body. When you have a waist over 40 plus, they're automatically telling me you're going down to the sugar bill, to diabetes. Automatic. You start letting your stomach get all the way out here, that's a sugar problem. You automatically got a sugar problem. But more importantly, on the spiritual side is self-control. Ooh, you got a problem telling yourself no when you play. When you at anywhere and you got a little money in your pocket, just burn hole in your pocket to eat. That's because of the self. Yes, the honest man is amazing, but the spotlight is all on you. It's your choice to change. There you go. Let me get you on the today. Your body will thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Is there a YouTube channel? Yes, we're actually live on YouTube now. It is www.youtube.com /C /HerbMan, right? So that's /C /HerbMan. Then I need my stomach like that. Sugar is good for you. If you think so, service is glitching a lot. How many of you guys can hear me? Put some ones in the chat if you guys real quick. You know, we're coming live from South Africa, man. So there may be some little glitches here and there. There may be some communication issues, but we're gonna work things out. All right. Sounds like everybody can hear me thus far. Sounds like everybody can hear me thus far. Okay. So that's what we've been doing. One, but lots of glitches. Okay. All right. All right. We'll try to rectify that as we keep moving forward, you guys. We do got our Wi-Fi here. We also have some hot like that. We'll be able to continue to stay in connection, man. But that's what it is in some certain parts of Africa, man. South Africa is one of the most modern parts of Africa that you can go to, but power is always going to be a thing on the continent. Okay, no matter where you go, there's always going to be a thing on the continent. All right. So now, with that being said, man, understand it, and it's a great kind of offshoot of what we're talking about that load shedding, right? That load shedding from the electrical on over to the solar panels. A person wouldn't need solar panels until the nighttime. And so what we're telling you is about the rest, relaxation, and sleep because it allows you to get into to your intuitive side. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all something. The lot less you remember your dreams, the lot less you start dreaming, the lot less you start to daydream, the lot less you start to imagine, is also the lot less that you'll be intuitive. Let me repeat that one more time because I know I got about 4 or 5 of y'all that's got some hearing aids in the back. The lot less you sleep and dream, the lot less you daydream, the lot less you imagine, the lot less that you don't do all these things that you would normally do, is the less you will have intuitive powers. So you should be remembering your dreams. You should be dreaming. You should be daydreaming. You should be imagining and having childlike imaginations because that's going to increase your intuition. Okay, that's going to increase your intuition. What life tries to do, and what this patriarchal, what this patriarchal energetic masculine energy tries to do is suppress the creative side of you, because this ain't about creativity over here. The right brain is about creativity. The right brain is the feminine energy. The right brain is about what we just talked about, in the dream and the creativity, all of that. That comes from the right brain. So guess what? One of these, both of these want to get utilized more than the other. So there's a constant battle, and your job is to not let one or the other win. Your job is to allow them to create together simultaneously through this friction, right? And then that friction is going to create what? An offspring. That offspring you call thought. Thought then creates another dynamic, another paradigm, which is another offspring, which is called action. The same way you end up at the Chick-fil-A drive-thru is the same way that you can hear yourself from the issues you got going on. Same brain power. Brain power. You see, so real doesn't it require focus? What requires focus? Okay, what are you talking about that requires focus? This whole thing requires focus, because the major point about the owner's manual that you guys are missing, and if you guys are interested in the owner's manual, please just DM me. We'll get you all the information that you need. All right. The biggest thing about the owner's manual here, as far as this subject matter that we're talking about now, is to get you to understand the importance of that balance. That if you are dealing with blood pressure issues, we do got to look at your stresses in your life. I know you might not want to. I know you might not feel like changing your job right now just because you got high blood pressure. I know you might not feel like leaving your husband or your spouse right now just because you got high blood pressure. I know. But if these are the things that are causing you a slow demise in your life, what are we to do? They are the problem. They're killing you. What are we to do? And that's why I've been teaching you guys that it's important for people to understand about the retreats and getting away for a few weeks or a few months away from certain environments that can help you. But if you can't do that on your own, then you're going to need somebody to help you do it. But I'm trying to teach you how to do this. Get away, go somewhere, and get this rest and this relaxation and this sleep and this meditation that this man been talking about. Okay? You need this. This is non-negotiable. This is a non-negotiable subject matter about your rest, relaxation, and your ability to tap into this third eye right here and get you into this spiritual plane. This is a no-brainer. This is what they don't want you to know, and they don't want to teach you, so that now you always need religion. If you can't do this yourself, you'll always need religion. If you can't do this yourself, you'll always need the doctor. Period. If you can't do this yourself, so the owner's manual is nothing but a self guide. But if you can't do this for yourself, and you like it just out of my hands, I don't want to have nothing to do with my own health. I don't want to have nothing to do with my own balance and acting. I don't want to have nothing to do with my own demons and trauma. And I want to leave this up to the therapist and psychologist, and I still want to live my busy life and try to think that that's going to help it and work out. Then you are delusional anyway, and you know, keep spending your money. You got enough money to keep spending, because that's what the hell you're gonna be doing. You're gonna keep spending your money. You know? That being said, now we're understanding, okay, so solar power. Now, how do you activate the solar power? Thank you for asking. So now we activating the solar power by first understanding the value of this right here, the heart chakra. See, the heart chakra, for you guys that are watching this, the heart chakra is going to be the ceiling. It's the ceiling for the lower self. So you'll find that in the masculine world, love is the objective. Okay? You'll find that in the masculine world, love is the highest of the highest things that you can desire and want. Love. So the Lord self sees the heart, the fourth chakra, as the ceiling, where the higher self, the higher self sees the heart chakra as the floor. So you living in a two-story home. If you dine there in the kitchen, the upstairs is upstairs to you. The children upstairs, it's the floor to them. It's the ceiling to you, but it's the floor to them. That's the fourth chakra. A lot of us in the lower selves are only seeking love as the objective, which is the lower self aspiration. Don't mean nothing wrong with it. But what happens here is that this is not an eternal cycle. When you're just going from one to four, four back down to one is not the continual cycle. In order to reach the continual cyclical nature of the 120 years of everlasting, you must be able to go from the roots to the crown, which means that this transition at the heart must be understood, undergone, especially when you're talking about the initiation of the higher enlightened self. So what that means is that in my lower self, love can be my objective only until I reach it to allow it to understand that it is now going to be the subject matter. So now what that means is that this whole time I've been searching for love. Once I receive love, now I start to use love in the way I talk, throat chakra. I start to use love in the way I see things and perspective. I start to use love in the way I think. Okay. So in actuality, you got the way I think, feel, and what I say. And that's enlightenment 101. The Lord self sees the fourth chakra as the ultimate objective, in order to understand that it is the middle road. Here that you must make your ceiling foundation. And now once you receive the love, you now take love into the next three paradigms, and you're gonna talk with love, which is say things out of love. I will then do what? See things or feel things out of love, and then ultimately think things out of love. Once I get what I'm looking for from the Lord self, it's that's not the end of the road. Then you got to use it. Now you got to use it. So now this is what we're talking about this whole thing of understanding this solar power right here. Solar power. Once I get and gain access to the next level, I got to be on a whole different power source. And it can't be the body. It's got to be your mind. It can't be the body, you guys. It got to be the mind. Let's keep tapping. I'll keep talking to you guys. We almost said 5 o'clock. So if you keep tapping, I will keep talking to at least get us under 50K. I should have already been this type of information. Okay? This type of information that you guys get. Y'all like to sit on my live and just sit and dig boogers and poke in your booty and be out there in the garden and just act like, nah, man, get active. Okay? Get active. That's what we're doing this for. I want to see you happy. I want to see you whole. I want to see you heal. But I also want to see you share the space, share the information with your loved one. I've had so many people that have shared this information with their loved ones. And that's how you know somebody loves you. When they want to give you anything that the HerbMan got, trust and believe, them folks love you. If they want to give you anything that the HerbMan got, trust and believe, them folks love you. Okay? So for a lot of you guys, I just taught you right now the real essence and the truth about ascension is that you first, once you get to the heart chakra, it's about receiving that which you've been yearning for, and then utilizing it as a particular tool. Okay, it's like finding treasure. You're gonna go find your treasure, which is that love, that healing, and then when you find it, you use it. It ain't just for you to find it and go into the casket. You got to find it and use it. But then when you find love, then you're gonna speak with it. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna think with it. That makes sense. It's not for you to find it ultimately and get the hell on. You're gonna find it and then you use it. It's a power. Okay. 369. 369 is in everything we do. I mean, if you just multiples of 12, 12 times 1, 12 times 2 times 3, you'll see that 12 times 1 is 12, which is 3. 12 times 2 is what? 24, which is 6. 12 times 3 is 36, which is 9. Then you do that over again. 12 times 4 is going to equal 3. 12 times 5 is going to come out to 6. 12 times, it's going to be on and on and on and on and on. So all of the 12s of 369. I learned that family has been the hardest to get to. I've been trying for years. Yeah, but don't worry about fam right now. You know what I'm saying? Like fam comes along once you are situated. The biggest thing people want to know, let me tell y'all something. I can't erase nothing out of here. But the biggest thing I want y'all folks to understand, folks want to know. Folks is not going to believe you unless there's two things that happen. I'm going to put them up. You can forget about trying to tell people anything unless you have. Folks ain't gonna give a damn about nothing you talking about unless you done healed yourself or you done got rich. Okay. I'm gonna just let y'all know that out the real. What's going on, YouTubers? Okay. What's going on, YouTubers? People will not tell you nothing. They not gonna listen to nothing talking about unless you done healed yourself. You can't be trying to heal yourself, trying to tell people about the honest man. You got to be done done it. There's a lot of people that how I sold my detoxes. My detoxes were word of mouth. Matter of fact, everything in my shop is word of mouth, right? But it was the effectiveness of the detox. Them 21 days, somebody 15 to 20 pounds slimmer, period, point blank. No matter if you believe it or not, that's what was happening. So a person might say, well, shit, man said the detox, 15, 20 pounds off you. Their friends like, nobody's done that shit, that better stop. Okay, then they take it. They take it. Next thing you know, they 15, 20 pounds lighter. They go back to work. Damn, what you been doing? That damn detox I told y'all about. Hell, I'm finna go get me one too. That's how it works. So nobody's gonna believe you, Sabrina, and there's no disrespect. But nobody's gonna believe you unless you have totally healed yourself. You can't go to nobody talking about do something and you still got weight issues, blood pressure, and cancer, and diabetes, and arthritis. Don't tell nobody about HerbMan. I wouldn't even want you to go tell nobody about HerbMan and you got all them problems. You need to be telling folk what about HerbMan after those problems are gone, and you say because of HerbMan, all my stuff is gone, and y'all can go down there. Don't be trying to tell nobody about HerbMan. You still got arthritis. That's not a good look. Don't try to tell nobody about me, and you still dealing with high blood pressure. I don't want you to say shit about me, and you still dealing with diabetes because we could have been took care of that. Okay, I don't need that. That's a bad look for me. So again, until you hear yourself, they won't believe you. Until you got rich by whatever it is that you're trying to sell to folks, that's the only way you're gonna get people to listen to you. So therefore, we don't even waste time doing that. What we waste time on doing is these two things. I'm gonna get rich first, and then I'll talk to y'all. I'm gonna heal myself first. That's all I'm working on. Because I know you ain't gonna listen to me. You see what I'm saying? And then that way we understand what's exactly going on. All right, what do we got here? YouTubers, if you guys got questions, y'all can come on and file in as well. YouTube, if you got questions, y'all can file in as well, man. But yeah, that's what this is, and that's what this teaching is all about. So now activating that solar power, now look at the glands that we're talking about, because I still ain't finished yet. That's why I need y'all to get this thing up to 100K, you guys. And please go tell somebody. And go tell somebody about your home and HerbMan. I'm just walking y'all through this process slow today. A little fast, but slow today. We still ain't got to activation. We know what it's about now, but we ain't really got to it. So I've been telling y'all all of the esoteric things, but this stuff actually is coming to. So we know that the heart chakra stops at the thymus gland. Now a lot of y'all don't know nothing about thymus because that's Thomas. That's Thomas, not thymus. Thymus, right? Yeah, I know y'all don't know nothing about Down time. But the thymus gland is one of the most revered glands on the planet in Egyptian mythology. You didn't know that. And when you see this little fish hat right here, you think that's the Pope hat, but that's the thymus gland. And the thymus gland is depicted on several walls in ancient Egypt because this also represented the reproductive system. And reproduction was at the underbelly of all the Egyptian understanding. And so, because reproduction was so revered, they took the thymus gland as the image that would identify reproduction. So now, reproduction is not just about the acts that we think in the bedroom, but I told you about your creative juices. So that's why the fourth chakra is about activating the thymus gland, because the thymus gland also has a lot to do with your aging process. Did you not know that the thymus gland shrinks as you get out of your child rearing years for male and female? Once you start getting to a point where you ain't gonna have no more babies no more, that thing will automatically start to shrink up. Also, it is the producer of your T cells. Okay, your T cells are basically your helper cells for your immune system. So you see how important the thymus gland is. So now once I get to the heart chakra, it's telling me that once I start to activate reproduction of my T cell, it keeps me from being sick. Oh man. Gosh, to be more careful because you've been worried about the pineal and the adrenals, but I'm trying to tell you that there is something in the middle. The pineal is very important to your ascension, but also to your healing because it produces the melatonin. We get that. The adrenal, we also know are very important because they're producing the cortisol that's allowing you to be awake at night. But we also know that cortisol kills and melatonin heals. But we know you can't sleep all day, but we also know you can't be awake all day. So what HerbMan is showing you is how to be balanced. It's at the heart chakra, the thymus gland. And this thymus gland is about reproduction of T cells that will keep your immune system copacetic. Now, in keeping your immune system copacetic, then that means that the majority of issues that happen in your body via outside of your body, via cancer, tumors, and oh my, is to have a strong immune system. Nobody's talking about the thymus gland. Oh, it's the pineal. You know about the thyroid. You know about the pancreas. You know about your gonads, your ovaries, and your testes. You know about them. You know about the adrenals. You even know a little something about your pituitary gland because you know that was attached to what we used to call back in the day. Uh, 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 the pituitary gland was attached to what we used to call that little process where you're going from a preteen to a teenager. Puberty. Yeah, pituitary was always attached to the puberty, right? How many of y'all understood and remember that? Pituitary gland was always taught with puberty because it's a part of growth and development. So we know about puberty and pineal and thyroid and pancreas and gonads and adrenals, but ain't nobody told us about that old thymus gland that is the reproductive organ or glandular system in the body. If you want to reproduce out of these glands, the thymus gland is one of those that's there. Also, the pituitary gland as well. And then we know that the gonads. Now, the gonads are going to be your actual glands that's in the operation. The pituitary is the thing that's controlling it from on high, but the thymus is the biological clock of that particular reproduction area. So if this is shrinking as you get out of your child rearing years, then it don't matter how what the pituitary gland hitting like, what the gonads hitting like, when this start to shrink and reproduce. Thymus gland, the most revered. So you guys are looking at that Pope hat. That Pope hat is not what you think it is. It is of the thymus gland, reproduction. One of the most revered symbols in ancient history is the thymus gland. Okay? Thymus gland. Y'all call it the frog hat, but it ain't the frog hat. It's the thymus gland. So now, the thymus gland is involved in regeneration. The thymus gland is involved in reproduction, generation of my immune system, my T cells. Okay? So we know that that is the ultimate thing from the lower self. If you're dealing with lower self issues, is to get your immune system in order. Now, when I get my immune system in order, now when I get my thymus gland in order, I use my immune system in everything I do. What I'm saying to you is that the first rule of thumb is to build your immune system. After you have built your immune system, it is now the second rule of thumb is to utilize your immune system. Y'all didn't hear that. Y'all didn't hear it. Y'all missed it. You sleep right there. The first rule of thumb, once I come out of the root chakra of my, is to build my immune system. Once I get my immune system built up to where it can reproduce at the rate in which it's been attacked, it can respond at the rate that it's been attacked, then now I can use a fully functional immune system in the paradigm in which I live in. Start to utilize the system instead of a dependency on the system. Now I start to utilize a system instead of being ignorant of the system. Now I start to utilize the system to benefit me in this paradigm. You can use your immune system. It ain't just something that you're just sitting there don't know what to do with. Okay, so we must build the immune system, starting with the thymus gland, starting with the T cell, but then over here spiritually, we got to watch out for grief and depression and sadness and loss. Now, that is a bigger toll than the physical side because a lot of us experience sadness and loss. And a lot of us experience grief and depression because we are under this paradigm of the death consciousness. So that means that things around us tend to die, relationships die, people die, job opportunities die, financial situations die, right? You have a lifespan on all these different experiences in life, and things begin to not be as though they were. So we get this understanding, and then we grief and depression that comes from the death consciousness. So it ain't as easy to springboard off this ceiling up into the upper room because it's actually built to contain you in this way. You got to break out of it to expose the free flowing efforts that you can put out to the paradigm. But it's actually built to keep your ass out and keep our ass in. Who's that peeking in the window? Ah, nobody now. Okay, so that's what it's actually built to do. Only the ones with the blueprint, which is this navigation, solar powered understanding. Only the ones that knew how to navigate into this different genre of information, into the depthness of a whole different subject matter, a whole different rooted, constructive understanding of the reasoning, the purpose for life, can really start to filter out what's actually going on and taking place in our paradigm. So it takes deep to get to deep. It takes rough and it takes hard stuff to get hard stuff up now. Okay? You can't deal with an egregious disease without an egregious effort to eradicate it. All that tiptoeing and baby ain't gonna work when dealing with the human anatomy that what we got today. These diseases are off the chain. You gotta have an egregious and you have to have a really good understanding of herbs, the body, science, etc., to really understand how to eradicate diseases, especially if you're not using modern day machinery. Okay, especially when you're not using modern day machinery. Now, a lot of these different philosophies, like the blood type diet and all this type of stuff, are very frail. They're very frail. They're very fragile, and they're also very shallow. Okay, so you got to be careful with those things. But hey, to each his own. Some people gonna tell you it worked for them. Some people gonna tell you that it didn't. All I'm gonna say is anything can work for you if you put your mind to it. Okay, anything. So I wouldn't necessarily give that the credit. I would give more of you the credit. Should we do the detox while taking the herb? You should never do anything alongside of a detox. Okay. If you are considering doing a detox, you should consider doing it first. Okay. And then do whatever else. But you should never ever do anything alongside of detox, no matter what it is. Other herbs, medications, none of that. You just do a proper diet, detox, because you're detoxing. So if any other things in the body, then it's going to counteract that detox, or at least it's going to make the detoxification process a little bit harder. All right. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, Stephanie? What's happening? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Good morning to you guys. Good afternoon to us over here in the southern hemisphere. All right, we down in the southern hemisphere. Every time that the sun is somewhere in the southern, in the northern hemisphere, is somewhere in the southern hemisphere as well. Okay. So we come on every day from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when the sun is in Gemini, okay, in the northern hemisphere, and it will be down here in Sagittarius as well. So this is the stuff that we've been teaching you guys, man. If you're interested in your owner's manual, please go over there to PM us. We'll get you all the information that you need to get you back well on your way to happiness, wholeness, and wellness. We take this health thing very seriously. Now, I teach esoteric and I teach because at the end of the day, being a holistic practitioner, and his way is really no way around. At least addressing some of this stuff. You got to address it, at least to know what the boogeyman's in the closet. At least to know that that relationship has still been plaguing you to where now you're hurting physically. That child loss or that mother loss, whatever case that you're dealing with, is still affecting you now more than ever because you have a physical. That's what we were trying to do, to tell you that that hasn't gone nowhere. That trauma, just because you didn't cry, don't mean it's gone. Just because you didn't show nobody or you didn't show the kids or you had to be strong, it doesn't mean it's gone. And it's starting to eat most of it inside. And these are what they call the cancers. It's after 10 in Louisiana. Yeah, it's after 10 in Georgia. So it's should be about 11:18 now. Somebody said Milo, Myro. I did, yeah, yes, bro, with it. Yes, sir. That's it. All right. So we got about 50K, man. Let's get us up to another 50K. You keep tapping, I'll keep talking. So I'm gonna do a couple of more, you guys, now that we got some speed on this thing as far as I tapping. And I just want a bit more about what you gotta do in order to the level of consciousness that you're trying to reach. I guess my first question should be, what level of consciousness are you trying to reach? What is it out of what you're getting on the earth? So what are you? Let me ask you that. Somebody, what are you looking for? When you come to the HerbMan show, what are you looking for? Huh? What you looking for? I know some of you guys are looking for herbs, some of you guys are looking for information, some of you guys are looking for this, some of you guys are looking for that. Some people say the Christ consciousness, healing, truth, healing. I need balance, a better body, enlightenment, clarity, learn, healing, spiritual information. So for the majority of you guys, y'all get it. Y'all are coming here looking for um, what we're offering, which is more of that spiritual conscious side of things. Learn how to use my mind, level up spiritually. I don't know. I was looking for the owner's manual. If you came to the right place, just DM me. We'll get you that. All the herbs, healthy and happy, looking to learn, learning the way back, inspiration. I just saw you on. I'll tell soon. Okay, this is your first day. Oh yeah, man, we've been rocking and jocking this thing for a long time. Connecting with like-minded people. True healing started the herb, but didn't detox first. Okay. So yeah, so a lot of you guys are getting it. A lot of you guys are coming on here learning, and you're coming on here looking for that which we're offering. Okay, which is that was my only thing. Are you coming looking for what we're offering, right? And what we're offering here is simply some free information on how to be enlightened, but more in an illustrative way. We tired of talking about it. We tired of trying to figure it out. We tired of everybody coming talking about he and did that, and did that. The main reason why people would enslave a people on the planet. So 'cause I'm finna go there, so we gotta keep tapping because we finna go there now. The main reason why anybody would enslave anybody in this paradigm is simply because you knew when things were happening. The win on knowing when things would happen to most other people would be considered magic. So they call you the magi. They called you the adept. They called you the secret society. They called you this and they called you that. It's because you knew how to answer a question of when. See, there was a lot of people back then that could answer the question of how and what and why, but it was this question of when that seemed to be able to illuminate the minds of the people. How could he know when they were going to come in and ravage us? How did he know when it was going to rain? How did he know when? Right? So this when was always this majestical understanding. And the when came out of what you would call today navigation. Okay. Magic is what you would call today navigation, meteorology, the weatherman would be magic back then. But a weatherman can't plan the weather without systems, Doppler radar systems, navigational systems that understood the seasonal movement of the planet. Knew this, but didn't nobody else know it. And because we knew this as a people, we were able to exist longer than our counterparts. Okay. Now, at some point, the counterparts wanted to know how in the hell are y'all existing in this agreed planet without no direction, without no instruction. And then those special people said, well, you do got some direction. You do got some instruction. but we're getting it from above. And they were able to share this navigational tool and program in order to not only sustain life for themselves, but now they could be the progenitors of life for the whole entire planet. And thus far, they would become the special people of planet Earth. They knew navigation. Navigation gave instruction. Instruction gave way to cultivation, colonization, civilization, which came out of navigation. Cultivation, colonization, and civilization. Cultivation, colonization, and civilization all came out of navigation. Without you being able to know when to do things, where to go, what to use, when you got them. Cultivation is your natural resources. When you got to a place, using the stuff that was around you. Colonization was agriculture. How you putting herbs and fruits and vegetables and farm animals all into groups. Colonization. You colonize the animals and the plants first. And because you were able to colonize, you were now able to be in one place for extended periods of time, which now gave way for construction. Construction, which also gave way for government. And now you have some of the biggest industries on the planet. Natural resources, agriculture and food, construction and government all came out of navigation. So when I'm using this for your health, which is why I'm telling you guys this story, when I'm using this methodology for your health, can't you see that it's going to get us to where we need to go? That if healing is your destination, we're using navigation to get us back there. Can't you see that I'm using an ancient system that can spiritually allow us to maneuver through this paradigm to get us to where we need to go spiritually? So I'm using what we've been using. I'm discovering what we've been discovering. I'm exposing to you why we are the special people. This is the oldest, most ancient healing system on the planet. That's the last time I'm gonna tell y'all that shit. It don't get no better than this. And I don't care what their name is. You can call these folk anything. Bobby Price, Richard Price, uh, uh, Albert Price. Y'all better go ask somebody, go tell somebody, go tell somebody. You ain't getting this from nobody but me. You can't go learn this from nobody else. And ain't nobody else giving you guys this information this way. We're using an old ancient navigation tool to navigate you through life for a funky measly $50. All we require is your birthday. What say you? Anybody else? What say you? So when we're talking about this solar panel power turn on, we're trying to get you to understand how it happens. This more than likely is the spiritual essence of life right here. Fall, this is fall, this is winter. This is mostly the spiritual things of life. So this is going to be your feminine, okay? And this is mostly in summer. This is mostly going to be your physical. So it's all about where you at. Is something requiring more physical or something requiring more spiritual? Then you'll realize that if you're in your spiritual time of your life, why are you doing so much physical work? Running your body down. Then you'll realize that if you're at the physical time of your life, why are you doing so much spiritual work? Running your spirit down. And this also got something to do with body. So we'll put body right here. And mind. Now, somebody give me your zodiac and your age. That's all I need. Somebody give me your zodiac and your age in my spiritual season. There you go. Now y'all starting to get. Now y'all starting to get what your boy putting down. Taurus 51. That's what we need right there. Taurus 51. Coach speaks. Okay. So Taurus is 51. Boom. Your starting line is your finish line. So your whole objective is to get back to Taurus. But right now, let's see where you at. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 1 year in to fall. You're in Libra. Okay? 1 year in to fall. So you're in Libra right there, Coach speaks. You're in Libra. So that's a relationship phase. That's a partnership phase. But you just came out of a transition here. So I don't know if you just brought on a new spouse or if one just left. Or if there's a spouse that just left, Coach speaks. But that's where you at right now. You in Libra. So relationships, doing something with someone is a great pull on you, right? But the fact that you just came out of transition at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, so at 45 to 55, 45 years old, something start going on in their relationship right now. I don't know, right? So either you added on a person to your life or one left. But the biggest thing is that you're at a spiritual time in your life. Okay, you just now got into your spiritual season, so now let's start to calm down on more of the physical and start honing in on more of the spiritual stuff. So that's how you can tell right now where you at. Am I more in my body time or am I more in my mind's time? Am I more in my physical time or am I more in my feminine time? Am I more in my due time or am I more in my receptive time? Okay. So now this is the time for a lot of things. Spiritual time is a time for receptive, being conservative, right? Being more magnetic means drawing things to you, right? Instead of you driving all the way across country for your job, now you want to bring things to you. Maybe you want to start working from home. Look here, I want to serve. I'm conserving energy because my job ain't to die in the winter. My job is to be everlasting. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to get to, man. Please get your owner's manual. If you guys are interested in manual, please DM me. Job ain't to get you to 50, 80, and to 90. The job is to get you to everlasting. So we have to preserve and conserve the energy by preserving the body. So that's why this spiritual time is important. Okay? That's why it's important. Where you at, Coach Speaks? Don't push out no age out here and I ain't gonna say nothing. Okay? I got about 26 more minutes with you guys. Just keep tapping that screen. Let's get us up to 100K. If you keep tapping, I'll keep talking. Well, I keep trying to be physical and I am working from home. My spiritual is heightened. Okay, then. So, but you got to stay there. You just not got there. So you just not starting. Okay. Your objective is to make it back to Taurus. You just not leaving. So you got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, at least 60 more years to try to make it. Now the question is, are you strong enough? Are you fit enough to make it around this wheel? And that's what we're illustrating to you guys with your owner's manual for a funky measly little $50 is we're showing you this illustration of how far away from the goal you are. But now, how enlightened are you now? Start to put forth that effort, or you just don't give up. Some people, y'all emailing me now. I'm just so in just so many different things, man. I just, at first I was feeling good about things, and I get my little reading, and I just don't know. And the third, you got to buckle down. Your spiritual consciousness is taking over your whole entire life. And your spiritual consciousness, you're at a lower level with it. So you got your lower self spiritual consciousness instead of your higher self. Now you're starting to fight against self in a lot of different ways, which obviously, yes, will start to ruin your life in certain things. I feel that I've been doing a lot of shadow work. It ain't about that, it's just about where you at. Your birthday, we'll figure out where you at. You said I'm in my fall season. Yes, you're in Libra. Libra. Yes, you're in Libra. You just getting started. Ever since I've been in winter most of adult life with college, work, marriage, and children. Yeah. So the winter time is a tough time for a lot of us, right? Tough time for a lot of us. But the bottom line is that's a good thing that you got that taken care of first in life, okay? Because you didn't want to be 90 years old going through winter. So you made it out of it early on, which means that you're going to have a particularly interesting latter part of life. I'm surrounded by darkness, trying to be a light. I am tired. Taurus 63. So you're the same thing, Taurus. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 3 years old. So you're in Scorpio. So right now, yeah, things are a little intense for you, but you're in that spiritual season. Right? So you're about the mind. Okay. So you can't let stuff get you, real one. Okay. You ain't gonna be able to let stuff get you. You gotta see now that okay, I'm at this spiritual time. I'm in Scorpio, which is a real intense time in my life, right? Also too, you may be looking at trying to do some joint ventures or trying to take out a loan or do something that you're trying to do. If you want to do that, now's the time to go ahead and do it. But understand that it's less physical work that you need to be trying to do. Don't keep seeing yourself having to do everything. That's what we call delusion. Delusion and loneliness. Remember that the deluge happened, the flood. The flood didn't really happen in the Bible, the flood happened in the minds of the people. And that flood is called the deluge, the delusion. Delusion, deluge is the root word for delusion. So it's when you flooded your eyes and you can't see spiritually. That's what the flood actually really meant. Okay? So some of us, we can get flooded with the delusion that we're lonely, that we're going through life by ourselves. And this is what we call fall of the mind. Fall of the mind, cold of the mind, nature of the mind, right? These times are more spiritual. Where you can understand that this is what you need to work instead of the body. Okay? Wow, this really helped me on what I've been challenged with concerning work and business. There you go. There you go. Bring it to you. If you're in the fall and the winter of life, be more magnetic, not electric. That means bring it to you. Don't go out and get it. Everybody hear me. Put some ones in the chat if you hear me. Please keep tapping the screen. You guys, let's get us up to 100K. Does everybody just hear what I just said? If you find yourself in the fall and winter of life, you need to be more magnetic. What does magnetic mean? Draw things more closer to you instead of going out and having to get it. Conserve your energy, which means bring family closer, money closer, opportunity closer, job closer, whatever it is that you got to do, you don't have to exude that much energy in this part of your life. Okay? Be more magnetic. Draw things more closer to you. Okay, magnetic. Okay, if you over here the body, I don't mind you being more electric over here. I don't mind you going out and getting it and using the body, right? Because we all have these departments of life. We got the fire department, right, which is your mental health. We got the air department, which is going to be your spiritual health. We got the earth department, which is going to be your physical health. And we got the emotional department, which is going to be, I mean, we got the water department, which is going to be your emotional health. So we know we got these different things. So the physical, there's a place for it. So if you find yourself up here, then we're saying, okay, you still got a little juice left into the electric tank of making things happen physically. That's okay. But we got to be able to balance both. How to become more magnetic? You become more magnetic by just what I just said, right? You position yourself now. See, before you would go to all these different places. Okay? To be magnetic means that you must hold a position here in the center. And you must draw these things to yourself. Where before you would go to these places. Now you got to let these things come to you. Hopefully, I mean, that's about the best way I can show you how to become more magnetic. Magnetic is you got to bring them to you now. Not you doing so much for your resources. It's time for your resources to start doing stuff for you. So I that for Virgo. So I that for Virgo 45. I ain't understand that, Nicola. Somebody saying we tired. I'm too young for that. In my rest season. There you go. Whereas for the pro brother, that shadow work been hard. Few times I went to give up. You know, I mean, I'm not a necessarily big fan of shadow work. I mean, but if that's what you're doing, it's happening for me, I understand. Yeah, I'm not a necessarily a big fan of it. What I'm just really trying to get you guys to understand is about this right here, right? Shadow work, if you've been here before, this is your 15th life. I'm gonna let y'all do all that type of stuff on your own, man. And what you love, if you like it, that's fine. What I'm simply trying to do is show you what's gonna benefit you as far as your health is concerned. Your health is your wealth. Your healthy mind is the best mind to make decisions out here. If you don't have a healthy mind, you can't find the right person or the right job or the right place to be or the right things to happen in your life. It's because you don't have a healthy consciousness about life itself. So this is what we're offering you guys for a measly funky $50 in order to help that. But you got to know what season you're in. You got to know what these things are all about when it comes to you. Like we just told that brother a while ago, you got a spiritual time in your life. You had a mind's time. You had to be a time of being more magnetic. You got to start bringing things to you now. It's time off all that keep going and getting it, keep going and getting it, and then you're gonna run out of gas. Your body will run out of gas. You will not finish the race. Everlasting life is a pace. Everlasting life. Even 120 years old, you got to learn how to pace yourself. So everlasting life is even a more pace. And this slow moving pace is what I keep trying to tell y'all about the spiritual understanding of contentment. You got to be content in order to run slow as you need to run in order to be here for as long as you want to be here. You got to be able to be content. And some of us, that's just a hard thing to do. We get it, we do it. But contentment is the only way you're going to be able to be everlasting in this paradigm. Because patience is virtue. Waiting on nature, waiting on God is what we should be doing. And that's why we're sick. Because we're not patient. So we become patients. That's why we're sick. We're not patient. If we can make it happen, you can be sitting up in church yesterday, all you wanted to, talking about anything you wanted to, but you went and did it. You ain't waited on God for nothing. I don't give a damn how biblically scholarly you trying to be up there, even the pastor ain't waited on God for a goddamn thing. Did everything they saw. And then gave God the credit. So you really don't know nothing about waiting on God and praying. It's when you come into your natural element that you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. You have to wait for that apple to grow, that peach to grow, that orange to grow, those strawberries to grow. You got to wait before the animals get mature. Patience. Okay? Anybody with any other questions? We got 15 more minutes, you guys. almost at 100K, 85,000. Can you work? A lot of people want to do whatever you can do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. Just make sure that at some point in time throughout my paradigm, you give me the just due, right? Patience starts with being content. There you go. There you go. The best way. The best way. In order to avoid being a patient in the hospital, you must practice patience in this paradigm. It is in that patience that what we're talking about is contentment. Find that you can do. The only way you're going to be able to share space in this volatile time is to understand that half of this is a masculine phase, the other half of this is a feminine phase. You got to know which one work with which at which time. And it is the wind that got us to this point today. And it's going to be the wind that get us to the next one. Because of my existence, I know that kind of has more hope to give themselves credit. So don't be acting all doomsday and this, that, and the third. People are being born for reasons to continue to share messages like this, to continue to evolve us and continue to stretch life and elongate life, continue to allow us to get to that next phase of life. So I don't never look at this thing as doomsday. As long as we'll continue to be messengers and messages out here, and we're acting accordingly to those things, and we out here having babies and continue to produce awe-inspiring children. Guess what? Nature's still gonna keep providing us messages, and we're gonna keep on getting these messages. So just because they killed Dr. Sabi, they did not kill the interest in herbs and alternative medicine. And just because they harm me, they will not ever. Okay, so that's why we ain't got nothing to worry about when it comes to that type of stuff. So there's always gonna be people like me and people like yourself, people in our lives, in our communities, in our families, in the whole collective that are always gonna be birthed and always gonna be doing the normal job of continuing to spread ancestral messages and ancestral technology to the people. You can best bottom believe that. Yes, the spiritual issues of diabetes is self-control, Danny. Okay, that control is at the rudimentary, fundamental root of blood sugar issues, self-control issues. Okay, what's going on, Lumina? How you doing? Welcome to the HerbMan show. Okay, yes, you guys, we're finished with the birthdays. All right, we're finished with the birthdays. If you guys are interested in your owner's manual, please DM, and we'll get you the information that you need for that. Tamara, what's going on? Tamara, that's what it is. Tamara, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening, baby girl? Y'all talking about grand rising, but it's going on nighttime. Right here. It's almost 6 o'clock at night in South Africa. Our grand rising. But for you guys, I know y'all just grand rise, man. You know, we appreciate all the love that y'all been giving. Well, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, so that's what we do, man. We're blowing the cap off of the healthcare. Okay, we're blowing the cap off of it. It is now going to be a rival that you guys can know that just as effective. Any advice on how to help a family member that doesn't believe? Yeah, you just give them your birthday and let's just give them the herbs that they need. Okay, this doesn't require you to believe it in order for it to work. Let me repeat that one more time. I know I got my 4 5 y'all in the back that got hearing aids on. This don't require you to have to believe in it in order for it to work for you. This is not a belief system activated type of situation. Okay, you don't have to believe in it. Like I said, the doctors, most of the doctors in America are foreign. They're Indian, they're African, but they're not Black American for the most part. They white. A lot of them don't believe in what you believe in. A lot of them aren't Christians, but you still allowing them to prescribe you medication and fill your prescriptions and write your little diagnosis down. So if you gonna trust them that don't got the same upbringing, man, that's the same skin color. You can at least trust your brother, right? I look just like and I come from the same understanding, right? Grew up as a Christian myself. But what works, works. It's undeniable. It don't matter if you believe it or not. It works. That's all we That's all we care about. What's behind psoriasis? So we got to look at what psoriasis is, right? So psoriasis is obviously a breakdown, right? It's information that's been sent out to break down or corrode, right? So then we understand that it has some acidity to it, right? We understand that. So then now we got to look at, well, what's causing this? Is it immune system? Okay. For the most part, it's under autoimmune system, attacking the liver, it can be attacking the skin, all this type of stuff, right? So now when you start looking at that, then now we got to start going to what? The immune system. We got to start going to a grief and depression. Okay. Now because of whatever area it's dealing with, we got to start looking at emotional health, right? Your emotional health. So when we're talking about the emotional health now, we're looking at guilt and unforgiveness. We're looking at delusion and loneliness. Okay. So it's a lot locked into psoriasis. But at the end of the day, can we find a problem? Yes. Eczema, if it's the autoimmune system, it's the same thing. They grief and depression. And dealing with the skin, we're looking at the emotional health, the emotional side of it. So there's forgiveness and also some delusion and loneliness. Autism, if you were born with it, then it's the parents' issue. Okay, but if not, it's a fire condition. So we're looking at attachment issues and self-control issues. Most autistic people have self-control issues. Okay, they blurt out, they have this thing, or they doing something that they can't control themselves, right? That's autism. So it's a fire element issue. It's mostly going to be attachment issues or self-control issues that causes autism. What about asthma? Asthma is again going to be here with the thymus gland because the thymus gland, this is your lungs area. So we're talking about grief and depression. Okay, grief and depression. Grief and depression for the lungs. Migraine headaches is not a disease. It is an alarm clock for some other things that may be happening in you. I would always advise you to look at your circulatory system and your respiratory system, right? Because you need oxygen going to the brain, you need blood flow going. So look in those two areas, respiratory or circulatory, and then let me know. But migraines are not a disease. All right. Anybody else? So we can tell by your diseases what you got going on in life, you guys. All right. So it's so many different ways to use this ancient science. It's, it's crazy. A person, my native. Oh, I didn't even know you said that. Thank you, Coach Speaks. Okay. Anybody else? We got us up to 100K. We thank you guys for the love. Thank you for the use. Great info. Oh, all the time, man. We're here every day. Okay, here every day, man. I just had to get situated here. Obviously, if you guys ordered your natal blends, they will be going out soon. I know I got a lot of you guys. We just had to get situated. So your order should be going out probably next week. If you guys got questions or concerns, if not next week, by the end of this week. Definitely, it should be by the end of this week, but definitely by next week, put it like that. So by the end of this week, next week, you should be getting your orders arriving at your doorstep. I know it's a little bit backlogged just because we have to travel and all that type of stuff and getting the herbs and everything, getting all the logistics taken care of. But your herbs should be going out by the end of this week and next week. You should have your herbs in your hands. If you're looking for tracking info, you can always email me, okay? Good information. Glad I found this content with Destiny. Yeah, man. You know, we talk a lot about the Bible as well, guys. You know, that's the biggest thing because I want you guys to understand that it's all about paralysis. Paralysis is easy as well. Okay, paralysis is easy as well. So anytime that you're having, and I've told you guys this plenty of times, when an organ does not work properly, when it's something in your body that does not work properly, you literally got to go to the central nervous system. You got to go back to the control panel. Okay? So the central nervous system is going to be fire, right? Attachment issues and self-control issues. Okay, attachment issues and self-control issues. Okay, and depending on the body part and everything like that, we can pull out more information. But essentially, there's going to be attachment issues and self-control issues that are the spiritual implications to paralysis. Okay, it's a central nervous system problem. Yes, a medical person. Heard, man, what's going on, Angelica? Good information. Glad. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for all that you do, man. Yes, not a problem. Aqua boogie. Ladies, if you have healing cycles, please get stop bleeding herbs from them. Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, man, we know how to concoct all kinds of stuff. That's why I try to tell people on here. I don't do what everybody else doing because everybody else. All right, anybody could sell y'all some herbs. The herbs are what the herbs are. We have herbs that a lot of people didn't have. Yes. The thing about my shop is that I had herbs that a lot of people didn't have. Because we were getting our herbs from South Africa. I had a Canadian to connect as well. So Canada can ship you stuff that you probably wouldn't normally get from America, but you just got to understand those herbs. So we had a lot of exotic type of herbs. No, we didn't have the whole Honduras kit. So I didn't have a lot of Pakistani herbs, but I had a lot of herbs that knew and had learned about myself and that could work. The herbs are what they are. The herbs speak for themselves, right? What I'm bringing now with this owner's manual consultation email is that I realize that in the practice of herbs and being community active on that end, right? That I was really no different than the doctor. I was relying on people who didn't know a whole lot about themselves to tell me about a problem that they didn't know a whole lot about. Try to get them a solution to something that hell I couldn't have known a whole lot about. Taking information from them. So we started to do research and go deeper and deeper into how we can eradicate the human fallibility, not knowing the body, not knowing the mind, not knowing the essence of why disease would even raise. You kept going because at that point, if I don't go no deeper, then I'm just a treatment center. I'm just like the hospital. I'm like the doctor. We don't go no deeper than what you said it was. Because you don't know nothing more than that. And I don't either as a herbalist. So therefore, I'm meeting you at the same table with the same exchange rate that the doctor does. So I say, hell no, there's something that we can do that's deeper. People don't like to do consultations. And I understand why. Because you feel like what the doctor said is what it is. But that's not true. And everybody knows that if you switch your doctor, the other doctor, the new doctor, has got to do the same test over because he can't take the word of your old doctor. But more importantly than that is that nobody knows this information about you. Nobody knows your specifications. Your doctor don't know it, your mom don't know it, your daddy don't know it, your pastor them don't know it, I don't know it, you don't know it. So therefore you get your owner's manual so somebody can motherfucking know what's going on with you. And the more you know about yourself because it's yours, the more you can start taking care of yourself and being more of an advocate for your own health. But also, this will also help service technicians like myself service you better in your time of need or in your healing journey. Okay, thank you. I wish I had found you years ago after I had my son. I was very ill. They didn't know the problem. Exactly. Can I take the native blend along with other blends like the stop bleeding herbs? Um, yes, you can. Yeah, yes, you can because you're only taking those stop bleeding herbs at certain times. Um, speculate. You should be only taking those stop bleeding herbs at a particular time, right? So if you're only taking those stop bleeding herbs at a particular time, then you should be fine. You shouldn't be taking the stop bleeding herbs every day. How to get rid of eye floaters caused by diabetes in the eye? You gotta get rid of diabetes first. Stand B. Okay, stand B. and you got self-control problems. So it don't matter what we tell you, if you can't handle your self-control issues, it ain't gonna work. You know, I can tell that you done been on a lot of different diabetes stuff, Stan B. Before diabetes get into your eye, you had diabetes for a while. You don't try all kind of stuff, Stan B, and it ain't working. It's because it ain't your blood sugar that's the problem. It's your self-control issues, Stan B. Metformin can't do nothing about self-control. Insulin shot can't do nothing about self-control. So all this time, you done tried all these stuff to get rid of your blood sugar, and it didn't work because none of the medications are for self-control. Your issue is self-control. You fix that, you fix the photos in the eye diabetes, and you fix your diabetes. Do you know anything about May-Thurner syndrome? No, I don't do doctor's diagnosis, but you can tell me the symptoms. Stan B say none of that works. I know because it's self-control, Stan B. Self-control issues, brother. What causes eye floaters? It could be various different things that cause eye floaters. You know, it could be a vitamin and nutritional deficiency. It could be just an acute situation where just blood rushes to the eye, causing it to look like you got something floating in the eyes. Hmm. Numbness in fingers. Numbness in fingers can also be a blood sugar issue, but it can also be a nervous system issue, right? It could be a nervous system issue. Okay. So you want to watch out for what they call neuropathy. Neuropathy can be in the hands and the fingers. Now there is a diabetic neuropathy, and there's just a regular neuropathy. But anytime you're getting tingling and numbness in a place, think blood sugar, think nervous system. Those are the two paradigms in which you go. And if that's the case, then that's going to be attachment issues, self-control issues. Okay. So attachment issues and self-control issues for numbness in the fingers. Hey man, how you like South Africa? Oh, we out here cool, breezing cool, baby. Breezing cool. They're trying to freeze me to death out here, but I'm working on it. I'm definitely working on it. Man. Yeah, man. But anyway, you guys, man, that's it for me, man. I'll be back on tomorrow, same back time, same back channel, you guys. I love you guys. Remember to switch on your solar panel. Switch on your solar panel. Some of this time that you're in is spiritual. You can't use your body in that time, otherwise you'll wear the body down. Body preservation is everything. Go look at the little video that I put in the feed about body preservation. Let's keep on busting these fuck ups here with this hot information. We're coming live from South Africa, man. I love you guys. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Until next time, love her, man. Peace. Yes, sir. Appreciate you there, YouTubers. We'll be back tomorrow. Same back time, same back channel. Peace.